Hey everybody, it's me, Jessica. I'm here today to guide you through your Yin Yoga practice. We're going to get started right now. Laying down on the floor for a Savasana to start. So grab any sorts of props that you think you might need, encouraging some blocks, pillows, rolled up towels, and whatnot to give you a little bit of lifted structure. And then go ahead, lay down on the floor. Here's the timer. All right, we've got 45 amazing minutes together where we're going to do our best to be as still as possible. So as you lay down on your mat, do a scan of your body from your head all the way down towards your toes. Really start at your scalp. See how you might even be able to relax your hair if that's possible. Relax your forehead, your eyes. Start to slow your breath down and do your best to tune into this moment right now. Each breath as an individual thing. So it doesn't matter how you felt 5 minutes ago. It doesn't matter how you felt on your last exhale. The next thing that you're focusing on is your current inhale. And this big exhale. And whatever else is going on in your life, you can control your breath. You can work to slow it down right here. Remember, in Yin, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So find that spot on the ceiling to relax your eyes or maybe close them. Check in and be honest with yourself. How is your body feeling today? Are there any parts of your body that feel a little bit more tense or stressed, uncomfortable? Where are you holding your feelings, and what feelings do you have? Maybe you're having trouble laying down on the mat because you're so excited about something. And maybe your back is hurting today because you're feeling sad or concerned. Whatever it is that you are feeling, that is okay. But we're going to work to change your mental channel right now to just be present, content in this moment. Working towards the power of positive self-talk. Think of something right now that you have done or that you are feeling that you are proud of. And I want you to say it out loud. And I'm sure that there is something that you have done today that you're proud of, even if that something is as small as, I got out of bed today. Maybe you did something nice for someone else, sent someone a card or a text or a phone call to just check in and make sure they're doing well. That's something to be proud of. Maybe you're still laying in bed right here, but you slowed down your breath and you're just making the intention to do good things for yourself. The journey to self-love and happiness, contentment, to feeling good mentally and physically starts right here, right now. You are in control. Just doing the best that you can with the body you have today, recognizing that every day is different and some days might feel a little better than others. Taking the time to focus on the things that you are good at. Giving yourself prop, because it all starts with that self-love. If you're not making the time to appreciate yourself, how can anyone else appreciate you? So take this time, be the best version of yourself. Fill your personal cup so you can spill out some of your amazing energy, knowledge, love, time with others. But make sure you put that mask on for yourself first. I mean the mask, like if you're flying on a plane and the emergency mask comes down, get that oxygen for yourself. I'm not trying to be political about masks. That was a bad analogy. All right, so next we're going to come into our first active posture of the day. Maybe take one more moment to focus on at least that one thing. Maybe there's many things you can think of that you're so proud of yourself for, and I hope that that is the truth. We're going to come into wind removing pose next. So if your feet were separated, go ahead, bring your feet together, heels and toes side by side. Find that nice length and alignment through your body. Keep your left leg where it is. If your left calf muscle isn't touching the floor, take a moment to flex your left toes towards your face. Toes come closer towards your shin. Gentle strut through that left heel. Draw your belly in, lower back stays down on the floor as you lift that right leg up. Pull it dramatically out towards the side, little opening in your hip, and then reach up to interlace your fingers just below the knee. Don't bring those hands palms together, hands flat on the shin. Use your next exhale to start to draw your knee closer towards your elbow. Notice if your left shoulder rolled a lot off of the mat to bring that knee towards your elbow, and use your breath to bring that left shoulder a little closer towards the mat. Start to stretch your elbows towards your hips. It's going to create some space in your chest so that your chest and your shoulders aren't creeping up towards your chin as much. And think about having your quad, your thigh, a little towards the side of your belly so there's not too much pressure on the rib cage. Let's bring some pressure into the posture though. So start to pull on your hands, the palms of the hands, to bring the knee closer towards the shoulder. But at the same time, start to press your shin into your hands. You'll feel a little bit more activation in the quad. Now draw that belly in and press your lower back down towards the floor. So while you're sucking your stomach in, you're pushing your shin into your hands. You're pulling your hands closer towards your shoulders. You're drawing shoulders away from ears. Back of your head is flat on the mat, stretching elbows towards your hips. You might be pushing so much that your biceps even start to tremble. Keep that stomach sucked in. Take one more deep inhale. And on your exhale, gently release. Oh, I forgot to start the timer. All right. Take a moment, bring those heels and toes to touch again. We'll take 3 breaths back in our Savasana. After that 3rd breath, use your next inhale to draw your left leg up. So we started with the right leg. Now we're moving to the left to get your ascending and then your descending colon. Draw your left knee out towards the side, dramatically away from the rib cage, and then up towards your shoulder. Roll over onto your back. Bring that right shoulder back down towards the floor. And then notice if your chin is stretching up towards the ceiling, how much of your back side can you melt into the mat? So tucking your chin gently towards your chest, stretching through the crown of the head towards the wall behind you. Shoulders draw down away from your ears, maybe a little puff of the chest. Elbows stretch down towards your hips. Start to pull on your shin. Start to press into your hands. Really glue that lower back towards the mat. Belly button comes towards your spine. You might feel a pinching compression sensation in your lower left abdomen as you are stimulating your descending colon. Take a couple more breaths right here. We've got just about 30 more seconds. On your next exhale, relax and release your left leg down. Heels touch, toes might fall open. Take 3 breaths here. Continuing just with our slow, intentional movement in Savasana. All right, go ahead and then draw both of your knees in towards your chest. Keep the back of your head down on the mat. So only draw those knees in towards your chest as much as you can while keeping as much of your spinal area relaxed and flat. Keep that lower back on the mat as well. So don't draw your knees towards your chest so much that your glutes lift up. Oh, I'm so itchy, y'all. Let's ignore that. Taking a couple more breaths in knees to chest pose. There is a new bug that is biting here in DC. It is related to those amazing cicadas that we had earlier. It's called an oak mite, and it is so itchy, and it got me big time last night. I went to a delightful outdoor concert, very socially distanced in the park. On your next exhale, relax the soles of the feet back down towards the floor. So keeping your knees bent, you might want to release them down one at a time. Go ahead, extend your arms out to the side. And next up, we're going to come into a spinal twist. Twist to whichever side feels best for you to begin with. So go ahead, press into the soles of your feet. Lift yourself up, roll over onto one of your hips. Work to keep both shoulders on the floor as much as you can. Stacking your hips, stacking your knees. Consider bringing a prop that can help you to find that awesome stacking. If you want to get a little extra stretch of your neck, gently turn your chin in the opposite direction of your knees. Just find what feels good for you. Remember, as we're working towards depth in the posture, the main goal is stillness. So you don't want to find yourself so deep in the posture that you need to keep coming out and then working your way back in. Find the edge of a noticeable, maybe somewhat uncomfortable stretch for you, and then breathe through it. Work to find relaxation and comfort in uncomfortable moments. We'll spend 1 more minute right here. Take your time carefully. Roll over onto the back again. Plant the soles of the feet on the floor. Use them to help lift those hips up. Roll to the opposite side and come into your spinal twist. Once again, remember, both sides of the body are not the same. So do whatever feels right for this body today. Make sure you find that noticeable stretch though. So the difference between just hanging out on the floor and actively working to create some stimulation and using your breath to let it go. We got 2 minutes right here. Remember, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. If you find you're thinking of everything else that you need to do today, tune back into your breath. Take the time to count the length of your inhale, to count the length of your exhale. Make your exhale longer. It'll bring your heart rate down. Simply be here right now. All right, we're going to carefully untwist. So roll over onto your back again, press into your feet. Glue that lower back down towards the mat. One more time, draw your knees in towards your chest. Stretch through your sacrum, your tailbone towards the end of the mat. Open your chest once more. Chin gently tucked back of your head and neck are flat. Stretch through the crown of your head towards the wall behind you. Maybe your knees are tucked a little bit deeper towards your chest now than you were able to earlier. And let's make our way over into tabletop. So maybe you use this opportunity to rock yourself up like a ball. Maybe you roll over onto your side once more into a fetal position and then press yourself up. Take your time, move with intention. Ooh, my glutes are sore. Feels so good. Get your hand palms on the floor. We'll spend 1 minute actively just passing out through cat and cow. Take the scan of your body. Start quickly with that total body scan. Really think about using that breath to create a little extra space between each of your vertebrae every time you switch from rounding through arching. So we're getting some back bends of sorts in these warm up postures. The next back bend that we have is going to be in puppy pose. So keeping your hips right where they are, stacked on top of your knees, you're going to start to walk your hands forward. The big limiter in puppy pose is going to be the tightness in your chest and your back. So you have the option, like you would see a dog stretch and have its hind really up in the air. If you need to, hips can come a little closer towards your heels, but consider using a prop underneath of your chest to really keep the weight forward, more weight stacked of hips on top of knees than going back. I promise child's pose is coming up as well. You can get an additional stretch in your neck, in your throat to stimulate your throat chakra by stretching your chin forward. We're going to spend 2 minutes here in puppy pose. I know it sounds like a long time, but I also know that you can do it. Remember, if any stretch goes from being noticeable, maybe a little uncomfortable, to feeling painful, come on out. But take this time to find the stretch that works for you to create your stillness. Slow your breath down. We're in it to win it. A little over a minute to go. All right, we're gonna bring ourselves forward. You might need to walk your hands in to lift yourself up off of your prop. Move that out of the way and then relax yourself down. So maybe walk your legs back behind you. Coming into whatever version of Sphinx Pose feels right for your body today. So eyes are still facing forward. Perhaps you can bring your elbows underneath of your shoulders. Maybe that's a little too much for you today. And you're bringing your chest down towards the floor and walking those hands out a little bit further in front of you. Perhaps that's still a little too much of a stretch or stress. To the back, you can always come into alligator instead of Sphinx and place your forehead on the floor, still getting a little bit of a lift through the chest to get into that lower back. Maybe you're feeling real good today and you want to lift yourself up even higher, still working to keep that belly button pubic mound area down on the mat. Just come into whatever feels good for you. We're going to spend another 2 minutes right here in Sphinx, and then option to lift yourself up even more and come into seal for a minute to finish things out. But find that spot, relax your eyes. Notice if your shoulders are creeping all the way up towards your ears. Find that space, that open lift of your chest. Shoulder blades are just releasing down your back. So doing that total body scan, asking yourself how you can relax a little bit more. Notice where you brought tension back. I noticed I was really just squeezing those glutes super hard. So working to take out that squeeze in the glutes or maybe any extra tension that you're bringing to your toes, to your hands. Maybe you pinch your eyes or mouth in a certain way while you're trying to get into a stretch. Work to take that out of the equation. So especially if you have your hands down on the floor still, forearms down on the mat in the Sphinx, and you would like to finish up and challenge that lower back stretch, get a little bit deeper of a back bend. This is the last of the back bends that we're working on right here. You can always straighten your arms, lift yourself up, make sure that you're still keeping that pubic mound, belly button towards the mat. You don't need to lift yourself up so much that your belly button comes off. It can be easier if you walk your hands out a little bit wider. Keep those shoulders pulled away from the ears. So as the shoulders pull away from the ears and the chest lifts, you're going to feel a lot more of a stretch or maybe even a bit of a stress in your lower back. Find the position that you can hold. We got 30 more seconds here. Check back in with those tense spots you noticed in Sphinx. Give yourself 2 more slow breaths with that chest up as you can. And on your second exhale, we're going to carefully release our chest all the way down towards the floor. Take a moment. You can place your forehead on your hands and windshield wipe your legs to relieve any tension. And then we're going to press ourselves back and come into a nice long child's pose. So open your knees as wide as feels comfortable for you. The wider that you open the knees, the more you're going to start to access the hips. If you keep your legs together, you can get a little bit more stimulation through your belly. We started off with wind removing pose, and then we had those twists, which are just some great ways to start to really create some movement within our digestive systems. You might have even noticed as you came into the slight back bends that creating a little extra length
and stretch on your abdominal region, perhaps you noticed a little bit more movement of air or just whatever else might be inside of you. All right, so we're going to spend 2 more minutes right here in child's pose. Relax that head down. If it feels too much, think about even placing your forehead on a prop. Start that total body scan from head to toe. Relaxing the hair on the crown of your head, your fingernails. All right, let's lift ourselves up. Out of this child's pose, and we're going to come to a seated position on our bums. Make your way onto your glutes. Whew. Let's go ahead and send our legs out in front of us for a moment. Maybe they're open wide, maybe they're narrow, and just kind of shake it out. Shake through those shoulders. Find the stretch that feels right for you before we hang out in this seated position. Next up, we're going to go for stump. I'm going to give you 2 different options for stump. We'll come back to this dragonfly. Just depending on how your body is feeling today. Cool. All right, so if you're feeling really open and flexible, if it's possible for you to bring both of your heels in towards the center line of your body and maybe use your elbows to scoop up that knee, great. You can do both of these legs at one time. We're in a kind of like the knees to chest pose that we had on the floor. However, if that's causing you to create a lot of rounding through your back, if you're feeling really incapable of bringing your chest towards those knees and getting a little bit more length through the spine, I want you to extend one leg out in front of you. Maybe your leg is straight in front of you, maybe your leg is a little to the side. Just do what feels good for you and bring that opposite heel close towards the center line of your body. Maybe it's right at the center and maybe it's out towards the side as well. You can then still use your hand or the crook of your elbow. I want you to really pull your chest forward and up. We're going to hang out here on this side for 1 minute. Just breathe and make sure you start with that right leg first. So anytime that we're getting the stimulation, this is similar to wind removing also if you're doing one leg at a time, but just sitting up, you always want to work your right side first, get your ascending colon, then we'll get the descending colon to help you relax, release, and eliminate. A lot of times back pain can be related to constipation. I know it's not a super fun thing to talk about. Some things that help are yoga, moving, taking a walk, really bringing your knees towards the chest to help to create that stimulation of the area, making sure you're hydrated. All right, if you're doing one leg at a time, we're going to switch to the opposite leg. So shifting your weight forward, pulling that elbow crook in towards your knee. Keeping those glutes down on the floor. Remember, it's normal to feel a little shaking, trembling as we hang out here in these postures for maybe a little longer than you're used to. When I first started, the biggest challenge of Yin was just creating the stillness in the body. Just know that any discomfort is temporary. Take 2 more breaths. All right, oh yeah, that was a lot more than 2 breaths. And go ahead, extend both of your legs out in front of you. Open those legs as wide as feels good for you. Today, starting to get a little stretch once again on the back of the legs, on those inner thighs. If sitting on the floor here is really uncomfortable for you, think about sitting yourself up on a prop. It'll help to take some of the stress out of the hamstrings. You can also bring your hands behind you. If you're open for a little bit more stretch though, bring your hands in front of you. Focusing on the stretch that we're creating through our lower half. Relax your upper body as much as possible. We'll spend 2 minutes here. I really, really want you to consider the next time that you're feeling a little overwhelmed, that it doesn't matter where you are. Everywhere you go, you have to breathe. Take that scan of your body right now. We got 1 minute left in this dragonfly. And ask yourself, do you feel any different than when class started? Does it feel easier to elongate your breath? Have you stayed present? this stretch, this moment, right now. Whether you're practicing with your eyes open or your eyes closed, all the same principles that we're enjoying on the floor or on our mats right now, we can enjoy throughout the rest of the day. So when someone comes at you with something, information that might make you feel a little tense, remember, you don't have to respond immediately. You can take a couple breaths. You can tune into yourself. You can take the time to honor and do what's right for you. Yay, let's carefully make our way back down to the floor, finishing off with some banana pose before we come into our final savasana. So just an opportunity to create a lot of stretching throughout the sides of your body. Inhale your arms up overhead. Keep your hips right where they are and walk your feet over to one side. I'm going to walk over to the right just because we've been doing everything to the right today. You can have your feet slightly separated. Maybe they're side by side. The whole goal is just to feel a stretch through the lower half of the body. Feeling the stretch this time because our feet walked over to the right on the left side. You can even inhale, maybe that left leg up, cross it over to the right. Maybe that feels like too much. Maybe you lift the right leg up, cross it over the left. Find what feels good. Bring those arms all the way over towards the right side. Keep your shoulders on the floor. Create as much length and space as you can. We'll spend 2 minutes right here. How many breaths does it take for you to get to 2 minutes? Last opportunities of the day to really take the tension out of your stretch. You are not muscling through this. You are releasing into whatever your body brings today. If you crossed your legs, use your inhale to take a lift and exhale to release from the cross. Walk your hands back to the center. Walk your legs back to the center. And then let's go ahead and walk it all over to the other side. Remember, both sides are not the same, so no need to do the exact same thing you did on the other side. Find what feels good for this side of your body right now. 2 minutes and then we'll have our final savasana. Last 2 opportunities to melt into the mat as much as you can. This is the last chance to truly create a noticeable stretch you'll hold right here. continue with these beautiful, amazing deep breaths as you walk everything back towards center. Come into your final Savasana. Option for heels to touch and toes to fall open, arms to stay close by your side. Maybe you just want to spread out a little bit more. Maybe you want to love that back and press it more into the mat, taking a bent knee. Option for your final Savasana. We've got 2 more minutes together. I encourage you to stay here for 3 to 5 minutes. Challenge yourself to find this stillness for yourself once class has ended. This is the last chance together to scan your body from head to toe and take in one more time how you're feeling today. Take note of, hopefully, the lightness that today's practice has brought to your body, your breath. As always, if you have any questions or concerns about anything that I've said or that we did, I hope that you'll reach out. Till we are together again, love yourself, everyone. Take the time to think good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds, eat good foods, nourish yourself from the inside all the way to the out. Until that time, please know that the light in me honors season is so thankful for the light within you. Please keep shining. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Treat yourself to these extra minutes of Savasana because you're worth it. Namaste.